The Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah, I didn't know about stand-up comedy when I was growing up. Never heard of it.
Really?
Because I grew up in Hong Kong.
What was the first stand-up you saw?
BET Comic View.
Wow!
When I was 13.
Which one? Who was hosting?
14, I think it was J. Anthony Brown that year, or Bruce around then. Mm-hmm. It was so interesting to me because this wasn't even an art form that existed in my childhood in Hong Kong. I'm sure there were some stand-ups,
but never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Never heard of it. And then I came to America and I was trying to learn English just by watching TV. And then it seems like just completely different genres in this new art form. It's like I heard music for the first time and I was like, holy shit, there's rock and roll music and there's, hip hop. So it was so interesting because I remember I really gravitated towards Comic View. That was so interesting because it wasn't just jokes or me trying to learn English. It was me also trying to learning about culture, how each race saw each other, blah, blah. Even though there were stereotypes, that they're joking about, but it was cool. Whereas I watched Comedy Central Premium Blend, didn't really laugh. I don't know why. So I always gravitated towards urban comedy, you know,
right.
and
well, they're having more fun.
Yeah, exactly. But then because I was watching the performance of it, it's like there's hip hop fans that like a song because of the beat, and then there's hip hop fans that don't care about the beat and only listen to the lyrics. I was more like the beat guy, and I just loved that side of performance. And then only later on when I got into comedy, I was like, oh wow. Everyone that's doing that premium blend stuff, maybe not my cup of tea, but it made me laugh as an adult because I understood how hard that was.
Yeah. I found out about comedy from my parents took me to see Richard Pryor live at the Sunset Strip when I was 15 in the movie theater, watching Richard Pryor on stage going, this is crazy. Yeah. I couldn't believe how funny he was. I'd seen all these funny movies, but to watch this guy just talking on stage, I was fascinated.
He's one of those guys when you watch, you're like, I can do that because he's just talking. Did he write this? But there's so much insane talent. Yeah. Like Michael Jordan makes basketball look easy. But I mean, I guess
sort of. You know you can't jump that high.
You know you can't dunk. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many different ways you can get introduced to comedy. It's I love hearing when the seed got planted in people's heads. When did you know that you were going to try to do this?
People ask me that question and I hear great stories like the Richard Pryor story or it's like me and my brother used to sneak in the movie theater, watch Eddie Murphy live. After he had a heart attack, I promise I'll be a comedian. Really? Amazing. I don't have that. I think it was a desperation that made me want to do comedy.
Desperation.
I never thought that was even a thing, right? Because you don't go into arts when you're Asian. That's not a real job, So
is it because your family would discourage it?
Yeah. And also nobody in my family did it in the arts. Anybody that made money was in finance, whatever, real jobs, quote unquote. So I was about to graduate college with an economics degree. And I hated the internship I had in finance and shit. And I just saw my life flash in front of me. I'm like, oh my God, for the next 40 years, I'm behind this desk fucking with mutual funds. Who cares, So I just tried. I had a quarter life crisis right when I was about to graduate. I was like, I got to do something to meet new friends, to meet girls, to whatever. So then I took jujitsu classes for 2 months. Horrible. I was the smallest guy and the weakest guy in the class. They would team me up with the girls and they would twist me up like a pretzel. It was very discouraging. I quit after 2 months, if that. And then I tried different things like boxing classes, gyms, whatever, And then I say the story. I wrote this book and I say in the book typing in local open mics in your Google search, it's one step away from typing in what's the best way to kill myself. It is that desperation that you need, that I needed. So then I just Googled local open mics, went to the haha, paid $5. You have to pay $5 for 5 minutes of stage time at the haha. So 5 other comics can not laugh at you. It was, horrific. But that still felt better than me sitting at home making no friends because I saw a camaraderie. I was like, if I'm good, I can make some friends here in the open mic, and there's a new world out. There's an out for me. So soon after, I think I quit that finance, internship, very promising internship, and I just try to do stand-up. You know, I did everything. I worked the door. I at the Comedy Palace in San Diego, this Greek restaurant that will turn into a comedy club at night. I worked the door, folded envelopes, did everything. If they let me sleep there, I would have slept there. Answered the phones and everything. I just dove into it, not just for the love of comedy and the arts, but for the love of this new life, this new fraternity that I found. You know,
That's awesome.
so a lot of it was an improvement on my life that interested me in stand-up, and through stand-up, I got laid for the first time. You know what I mean? So like it worked out for me, and I kind of had a crisis where, okay, I'm doing fine. You know, I have a lot of friends now. I have, you know, I go on dates. Like it's fine. Like my life is fine, and I started making money on Silicon Valley. You know, so I stopped doing stand-up. I was like, I don't really need this. You know, But then after a while, like I wasn't getting depressed either. So it was a really good feeling because it wasn't a crutch. It wasn't an addiction I needed to feed. And then eventually I did stand up finally, I think, for the love of it. I was like, you know what? I do miss this. I'm going to go do it on my own terms, not just because I'm trying to make friends and trying to pull girls. I'm doing it because I enjoy the process of it. So let's fucking do it. And that's the recent, I guess, resurgence of energy.
How much time did you take off?
From stand-up, on and off like a year or two. A couple seasons during Silicon Valley, I would do stand-up maybe at max. I would just go down to Comedy Magic Club once every 2 months, just so I can, you know, talk to some friends or something. But
just
I wasn't
to
in
do
it.
Yeah. Dust it off and.
Yeah, but it was stuck in that same old material. Wasn't
Yeah.
feeling it. And the reason for this special really was I kind of got pissed. Because everybody that was coming up to me in the streets, like, yo, Jing Yang, Silicon Valley, whatever. And there's some YouTube clips people watching me doing stand-up. It's like, oh, I didn't know this motherfucker can do stand-up, you know? And blah. I'm like, man, I am a stand-up. I started as a stand-up. I think I'm a better stand-up than I am an actor, you know? So let me prove to the world I'm not just like a Vine guy or actor trying to do stand-up. I am an actor who used to be a stand-up, and that is my fucking forte.